Well, dear friends, in this video, we intend to get acquainted with the technical analysis module environment of the Harvard Novant software. Watch this video carefully. This is one of the most important videos that introduces you to the overall environment of the software, and then we can start our analyses on the software. This part, you see, is the menu bar that I have previously explained, and we have entered the technical package and the analytical environment module of the software. Let's go one step lower. Here you see the standard tools for our work and the workspace, where we actually need to use these tools. I will introduce these one by one. Pay close attention to them. This section that you observe shows the type of your price chart. Now, on the first page of the software, actually in this analysis environment of ours, the black colored environment where I am moving the mouse, you see a green chart, which is the price chart of the stock. The chart that I am showing you with the mouse is the price chart of the stock, which includes various increases and decreases. To start the analysis, to make the space more visible, I can close some tools here so that you can see the software's workspace better, and then we will talk about each of these items one by one. Look, dear friends, as this is the price chart of the stock. And, we have called up the chart of a stock, for example, the chart of the National Iranian Copper Industries Company with the symbol FMELI there. We will also learn how to call it up together later. But from the beginning, from this left section, we can change the type of chart to various types. One of the types of charts is the candlestick chart or candle chart. We will get familiar with candlestick charts in the upcoming videos, learning what type of charts they are and what their capabilities are. In addition to candlestick charts, when I activate the candlestick chart option here, my chart will be displayed as a candlestick or candle chart. If I enlarge this chart a bit, take a look. Each of these items you see is a candlestick or a candle chart. By connecting and placing these charts together, we can see the overall price chart of the stock. Well, if I convert this chart into a line chart, meaning I select this option, my stock price chart will be displayed as a line chart. If I convert the chart into an OHLC chart, my chart G will look like this. This chart is called an OHLC chart. Guys, the OHLC chart, or in other words, OHLC, is the abbreviation for open price, high price, low price, and close price. That means the opening price, the highest price, the lowest price, and the closing price. The opening price is the price at which the stock makes its first trade of the day and takes its initial price. The high price is the highest price at which the stock is traded on that trading day. The low price is the lowest price. And the close price is the price at which the stock closes on that trading day, marking the last trade before the market closes. The next chart is the HLC chart. The difference between HLC and OHLC is that in HLC we no longer have the open price of one day. We only have the highest price, the lowest price, and the closing price. Look, I am now converting the chart to OHLC format and zooming in on the chart. This, for example, look at this section. This is now actually a candlestick, a chart that is in OHLC format. The OHLC is this little line that you see on the left side. Let me remove this cursor. This line on the left is our open price, meaning largely on that day, the first trade that the stock price chart and that stock saw was at this price. After that, these khaki parts are the high price or our highest price. This part is the low price or our lowest price, and this line on the right is the close price or the closing price. As soon as you change the chart from OHLC to HLC, you'll see that the lines on the left are completely removed, and we only have the high price, low price, and close price. Well, now which one of these should I choose for my analysis? To perform the analysis, try to start by converting the chart into a candlestick format. Let's move on to the next sub-item. After going through these four and explaining which one to choose, I have explained it to you completely. We move on to the next item, which is the time frame of the price chart. Look, dear ones, when you choose the daily or daily time frame, it means that each of these candlesticks here represents one trading day of that stock. But if you change this, for example, choose M1. This means that each of these candlesticks represents 1 minute of that stock, not 1 day. And sequentially, you can observe 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, was 1 week, 1 month, 1 quarter, and 1 year of the stock here. For example, if I choose W, each of these candlesticks you see represents 1 week of the stock. For instance, this large candlestick you see indicates that during this week, the stock had a very good and excellent upward trend. Or if we display the monthly view, we can see that in these months, the stock had an upward trend. And in these months, it had a downward trend. This means each of the candlesticks represents 1 month of trading for that stock, and sequentially for quarterly and annually. Now, each of these candlesticks you see represents 1 year of the stock. This means from this area to this area, we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 years of the stock, showing what trend they actually indicate. Well, look, dear friends, in this section, we should try to set our chart to the daily time frame, which is the best time frame for our analyses. The next item we are dealing with, which is also very important, the item related to adjusting the price chart. I will give a brief explanation about adjustment, and then we will see how we actually work with the adjustment and what it looks like. Look, in this section, dear friends, we are actually observing a process. We are seeing some fluctuations, but after a certain point, if we pay attention, the price chart becomes discontinuous and some parts of the chart are missing. The parts that are missing sometimes occur due to a process, for example, with a capital increase. For instance, look at this area, where a capital increase has occurred on the stock's price chart, causing the price chart to suddenly drop significantly to a lower area, and then start growing from there. However, this price is not the real price for this stock, and it is not the fair, logical, and theoretical price of the stock. Rather, the value of the stock has not decreased. It's just because we had a capital increase and the shares were split, reducing their number. Or in other words, we can say the nominal value of the stock has decreased. In the process of capital increase, we only increase the number of shares. Therefore, the intrinsic value of the stock has not changed, and this lack of increase in intrinsic value shows that the real price of this stock is not at this price. Therefore, the necessary adjustment must be made so that the chart can find its true form. Right now in this area, in order to perform the adjustment, I need to activate the adjustment button on the chart here. Look at the chart that had fallen below. In the previous state, it was in this area, but now it has moved and is positioned above. Well, this shows that the correct state of the price chart is this chart, not the previous one. Therefore, you should always try to keep the adjustment button activated. And after you have activated the adjustment button, you can select the type of adjustment from the relevant country here. I choose the functional adjustment type. You should also choose the functional adjustment type, which is an average and synthesis of all analytical methods. And in this area, we also have a fundamental item, MAJI, which contains several options. The option you see is the EPS option, which means earnings per share, indicating what kind of EPS adjustment has been made for the share during that time period. When this option is active, these EPS values are visible on the chart, and you can easily move the mouse to the left corner and the top left. You can see the information related to the respective EPS. For example, here we had a positive adjustment. The EPS was 0 and has reached an EPS of 789 rials. we had a positive adjustment. And after that, you can see a good event has occurred for the stock. The second item, which is a red S, signifies a capital increase. Anywhere you see this item on the stock, it means the company has increased its capital, or satoi, during that time period. And you can easily move the mouse over it to see where this capital increase came from and what the actual amount was. For example, here we had a 30% capital increase that was fully funded from reserves. So these items can really help, or other capital increases that have occurred on the stock's price chart. The next item is the orange D that you see, which includes these items. In the same DPS, or dividend per share, or the cash dividend per share, meaning the profit that is distributed among shareholders. If you hover over this D, you will see, yes. Here, the company had an EPS of about 833 rials, of which 480 rials were distributed among shareholders as DPS. To start the analysis, my suggestion is that you first turn these on. See where the stock, or even at the end of the price chart, where the stock has been adjusted, where it has distributed cash dividends, and where it has increased capital. But later, for conducting the analysis, we remove these because we are supposed to clear this environment as much as possible, since we are going to perform various technical analyses here, and we need this space. Well, the next item is the grid or network. It's better that this grid or network, these grids that you see here on the chart, are mostly for showing different scales that we are going to use in the analysis work. But since we need to keep our analysis environment clear and ready for analysis, I suggest removing the grid or network so that the background of your analysis page becomes completely empty. The next item is the crosshair or cursor, which is very important. The crosshair or cursor should always be kept on, as it makes your mouse take on a cross shape, and wherever you position it, you can see the price, so on the y-axis, and the time on the x-axis. For example, in this area where I place it, I can see the time exactly on the x-axis and also observe the price. This item is related to the skin of your analytical software. According to this skin, you can very easily change the type of skin of your software. Now, this slider that this is next to it, you can change your software's skin to black and white, or actually white and blue, meaning a white background with a blue price chart, and black and green. This is the mode that I personally use as default, black and yellow, or black, green, and red, which shows upward trends in green and downward trends in red. And the background of the page is black. Well, I will switch it back to black and green. Now, according to your preference, you can change it. The next item is the chart's time frame. Look, dear ones, the chart's time frame should never be confused with the chart's time frame. The chart's time frame actually shows in which interval each of these candlesticks is placed. But the time frame of the chart comes, and that interval shows the time frame related to the stock's price chart. For example, if I set it to 3, what you now see on this page is the last 3 months of the stock. If I choose 6, it shows me the last 6 months of the stock. It means from the end of the time I am analyzing the stock to 6 months ago. If I choose 9, it shows me the last 9 months of the stock. It shows me, and so on. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years of the stock. Right now, the 5-year chart of the stock is what I am actually considering. And if I choose this last option, it shows me the entire time range of the stock, from the very first day it entered the stock market until now. For example, like Melly. It ran with the symbol FMLI. That's what it shows me here from the beginning. In the year 2006, actually you could say in February 2007, it entered the stock market until today when I am reviewing this chart up to the end of the stock. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next item. These are the zoom tools. These zoom tools will be very useful for you. You can zoom in on many parts of the chart by dragging. For example, I want to zoom in on this area and see it. I just need to drag this area, and the chart will show me only this part. But now, I'm going to go back. To go back, I just need to click the middle zoom tool, which is the negative zoom out, and make the chart smaller and smaller to return. And use the top positive zoom tool to actually enlarge it more and more. And this mode takes the chart completely out of the zoom mode. If you want to drag the chart back and forth, just drag your mouse over these gray halos. That means we move the mouse here and drag it to the right. We drag the chart to the right and see its left side. Or if you want to increase or decrease from top to bottom, you can bring the mouse over the gray price area and drag it to move the chart up or down. If not, you can actually move the chart using your mouse scroll. With scrolling up and down, you can shift the chart to the left and right. The next item also performs the same scroll function. In fact, by pressing this button, you can go to the beginning of the stock from the first day. And this item shows the end of the stock. And with this item below, like scrolling, you can move the chart to the left. The next item I want to tell you about is the item related to gaps. These gaps are in parts of the chart sections that I previously talked about, where the chart is actually broken and doesn't exist. Parts of the chart are missing because the stock is closed, and the closure of the stock causes the chart to be broken in some places and not visible. However, this time period was endured. That is, a period of time has passed until this happened, and that's why we need to use the gaps item here. When you activate these gaps, the gap becomes active and shows how long the parts of the chart that were broken took, indicating the days. The stock was closed and then reopened. The places where you see the discontinuity, you see the absence of the chart. Look, here, I can see the gap that took time for the chart to reopen. Again, from here, this time gap took for the chart to reopen. But if I close this gap, you will see that I no longer see that gap, and the chart immediately shows the next day here on the day it was traded. So guys, when do we use this gap? We only use this gap when analyzing ascending and descending channels, which we will get to know in the upcoming videos. Only when we use ascending and descending channels should our gap be open. That means the gap button should be active. But in other analytical methods, never use the gap button and keep the gap closed. Okay, the next item is the indicator addition item. We will deal with this window a lot because many powerful technical analysis indicators and oscillators are located in this window, and you will work with this window very, very much. As you can see, technical analysis, look guys, there are so many different indicators and oscillators in technical analysis. And what tools are invented every year, in every month even, by the CMT Association and the inventors of technical analysis. And the question that arises here is whether we should use all these tools. No, each of these tools has its own unique capabilities. But the important point is that we have several powerful technical analysis indicators and oscillators that are among the general, solid, and basic tools of technical analysis. As a professional analyst, you should know them thoroughly and well. It is not necessary to use all indicators and oscillators. You only need to select and use some of these tools. Well, I'll close this window too. We'll be working with it a lot later. The next item is the magnet, which isn't very important. Then the next item is the horizontal line. If you want to draw a line based on the analysis you want to perform on the chart, you use this item when you activate it and click once. On the page, you can simply create a horizontal line anywhere you might want or need, and then when you easily move your mouse away, the item is deselected and the line is fixed there. Now, if you want to move this line, you can transfer it to any other part of the chart and fix it there. If you want to edit your line, just double click on it, give it a desired color, or increase its thickness. By pressing the confirm button, that line will take on the corresponding color and thickness. And again, you can easily place the line on the chart from wherever you want. In fact, fix it. The next item is drawing a vertical line, and when you select the vertical line, you can easily fix it anywhere on the chart you want. The advantage of the software is that all its menus and items are in Persian, and you can use it very easily. Here I can also easily change this line to any color and thickness I want, and then fix it anywhere I want by dragging it on the stock price chart. The next item is drawing a line segment, which is especially necessary in areas where we need to have trend lines or channel lines and generally analyze ascending and descending channels. From this item, we can use a line segment phi, and we can easily draw this line diagonally, and after we draw it, we can move it anywhere we want or choose any color we want for it or change its thickness. And again, let's drag it if you want. You can actually change the angle of the line very easily in a straightforward manner by dragging the end of the line, effectively increasing or decreasing the slope of the line. The next point is the item scheme. Under this segment is that you can draw not only a segment but also a line, a directed line and an angle line. The next item. In fact, now before I mention this item, the directed line is the same as the arrows we draw. Later, for Elliott waves, we draw different waves, and we can use these arrows. We can drag them anywhere we want, and we can give them any angle we desire. Well, this item too, which we saw together, I will fix this arrow somewhere as well. The next item, which we will discuss later. We will talk a lot about in advanced technical analysis. There are Fibonacci lines, which are Fibonacci analyses, are located in this section, which we will use later. Again, the Fibonacci fan, the quadrant channel. These are tools used in advanced technical analysis. For example, the quadrant channel is when you can easily drag this channel in these areas, draw it, and then by drawing those lines, you can have a completely aligned measure on the stock price chart. And each of these lines can have its own specific meaning and the type of analysis we will use. Continuing with these tools to fully fit here, and it couldn't fit in the next tab, which is the Shapes tab. In this technical package, we have two tabs, the Report tab and the Shapes tab. When you click on the Shapes tab, as you can see, the continuation of these items is located in this section. We have line segments, three-piece line segments, the line segment that we explained. The three-piece line segment is made up of 3 lines. You can drag it to shape it any way you want. It is mostly used to show corrections, which now in advanced technical analysis, we will become more familiar with it on the software. We can use these then, and after we have drawn them, you can move them to any part of the chart you want and place them in any section. The next item is the lines of change rates. We deal with this item a lot. The lines of change rates, the change rates show the price chart changes of my stock. For example, suppose I want to see what the change rate is from this area B to this area. By drawing it, you can see it shows about a 27% growth in the chart here. or in this area. I can see what percentage of changes I had. It's about a 12% change I am seeing. You can also use this tool for negative changes. To see the negative changes from this area to the drop area, it includes about a 10% drop for me. Well, in addition to this item, we have regression lines. For example, I will now clear some of these tools to make my environment less cluttered. You just need to select one of these tools, and by pressing the delete button, all of these lines can be removed. You can remove the tools from the stock price chart. If I want to draw regression lines, I just need to select the area where I need the regression line to be drawn and indicate the starting and ending areas. Automatically, as I move forward, a line is drawn in the middle of these two lines. This is actually the equation of my regression line. It shows me the main slope of that line up to that area, and my regression line draws it there. There are different types of regression lines. We have a regression channel, an open linear regression channel, and an asynchronous linear regression channel. And all other items related to regression, stabilization lines, we have Fibonacci lines, which we will get to know later. And I too have explained them in the report tab as well. Fibonacci fan, cycle counter, quadrant channel, and Gann square, which we will encounter again in advanced technical analysis. Here, we also have an item here. In fact, we can use various types of polygons like the rectangle here, which we will frequently deal with later on. Use it for our analysis. We can draw any rectangle we want here. We can change the color of our rectangle to any color we desire and adjust its thickness as well. And then we can move that rectangle to any place we want, or turn it into a square and move it to any location we desire. Circle, ellipse, and in fact various other features like different shapes available here can easily be given thickness here. You can change its color and draw it. It's especially used a lot for labels. We can use different types and then give it various sizes and drag it, logarithmic, spiral, and label. The most important item here in the analysis, we use it a lot. We can actually type a text and for naming different parts that we use. In the analysis process, use this label section. This last one too, in fact, if you want to use an image, you can import it from your computer into your analysis, and I highly recommend using it and making use of it.